everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates All Levels. My name is Audra. We're going to use the ball today. If you're at home and you don't have a ball, no problem. You can take a pillow, fold it a couple of times. Always feel free to opt out of any exercise or any prop. If you need modifications, let me know. How is everybody's bodies today? Pretty good? Pretty good? Pretty good? Fantastic. We are going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start on our back, knees bent, feet flat. And let's bring the ball in between our knees and then lie down. And we're just going to take a second to breathe. There we go. So one hand on your sternum, one hand on your low abs. And just inhale in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just start to notice which hand is moving more. So if your sternum hand is really moving, see if you can invite it to be quiet. And you can inhale low, allow your diaphragm to lower, allow your pelvic floor to lower, and then allow them to lift on your exhale. On your inhale, also see if you can allow your transverse abdominis, that corseting muscle, to expand three-dimensionally. And exhale. 2 more. On your next exhale, we're just going to imagine pulling our hip bones towards each other, ribs towards your belly button, and gently squeeze your prop. See if you can find that nice abdominal connection, even though we haven't moved, right? Big inhale. Big exhale, hug everything together, gentle squeeze. Now, just notice if you feel one side connect more than the other. And then inhale. And if you do, just invite the other side to show up. Two more. Good. Exhale, last one. Squeeze, find that engagement. Now go ahead, interlace your hands behind your head. Spiral your elbows forward. Exhale, curl forward. I'm assuming you've inhaled by now. If not, take an inhale and then exhale as you curl your collarbones forward and then lengthen all the way back down. Exhale, sink the ribs down, collarbones curl. Good. Just starting to move the upper body a little bit. If the ribs pop at the end, see if you can gently integrate them towards the belly button so they're still active, right? Those muscles should still be active here, even when we lower. And then when we inhale, we let them spread. Last one like this. Come all the way down. Now you can move your hands or keep them right where they are. We're just going to find that neutral pelvis and then imprint your hips. Right, so little imprint of your lower back, let your low back relax down and then rock your hips back to neutral. That's it. So instead of curling from our upper body, we're curling a little from our lower. It's back and forth. Think about the lower back melting into the ground. And as we do this, if you feel the fronts of your hips gripping or your buns gripping, try to get them to relax. It's not a huge move. Good. 2 more. Last one. Now this time, curl your collarbone forward and hold. And all we're going to do is rock our hips imprint in neutral while maintaining that upright position of our torso. And notice how much more kind of work you get out of it because the muscles are already engaged, right? Hopefully you're also feeling those obliques start to kick on. Trying to maintain some height through your upper body. And if for any reason your shoulders are down and your head is what's up, bring your hands forward, curl from your ribs, and then you can bring your hands back. Anybody else trembling as soon as they got 3? It's so small, but it's a fierce move, right? 2. Last 1. Go ahead, bring your head down. Bring one hand to your side. Now, as you curl forward, your hand is going to reach away from you. Fold. Now, all we're going to do, think about that opposite armpit pointing towards the outside of your thigh and keep the hand still. Come back to center, lower down, the hand will slide back with you. Exhale, curl forward, the hand will slide, and then keep it still. And that kind of lets us know where we are in space, right? A lot of times, our external obliques on the side we're rotating towards are trying to help those internal obliques, so we side bend. So knowing where we are in space can help keep it less side bendy, more rotating. 2. Is side bending bad? No, of course not. We need it. We need our spine to move that way. However, we also need to be able to separate out motions. Let's do the other side. So just one hand behind your head, get other hand out. Think about that shoulder blade drawing around the ribs. Exhale, curl forward. And then just rotate to look. Come back and down. So two-parter, right? We curl forward, hold. Armpit points to the opposite thigh. And back and down. Couple more. Huh? Oh, can't imagine why. 2 more like this. Slide the fingers, keep them still. 1 more. And come all the way down. Bring your arms to the sky. Let your arm bones relax down and then widen through your fingertips as you reach your palms to the sky, T position. Lift up onto just your toes and just start to let your knees sway a little bit to one side. It's not a huge rotation. And then exhale, bring the knees back by sinking the ribs down. So ways you can tell if you are over rotating is if your back arches or your hip hikes, right? We're gonna think about that top hip lengthening and keeping a neutral position with anterior, posterior, right? Obviously it's not fully neutral because we are rotating, but we're also trying not to arch. The arch will mean that either our erectors or our posterior pelvic floor is trying to help. If we also think about keeping our diaphragm sinking in the front and widening in the back, that can also help. Now, maybe this is where you are today. Maybe this just feels good on your back, and that is what you want to continue with. And that's fantastic. You can absolutely do that. Or if you want, you can float your legs to tabletop, squeeze the prop with your inner thighs. Think almost about pushing your feet into an imaginary surface so the back of your legs kicks on just a fraction. And then we take one hip up as the other hip lowers. Exhale, drag it back from the ribs. Other side. Good, you guys? Doing okay? You're what? Keep them down if you can, yeah. Good. So you're in a goalpost position, which is great. Yeah, I was just going to say goalpost is a little harder to maintain. So if the shoulder's coming up, go to the T. But if the goalpost feels great, go for that. Goalpost kind of gives your pec minor a little bit more stretch. But yeah, a wider base of support just offers a little bit more support. We get one more each side. And come back to center. Go ahead, bring your feet down. Slide one arm overhead and then bring it to the ground. Other arm comes to the sky. And now it helps us rotate. So the fingers that are at the sky are coming across the body and helping you rotate to your side. Good, so come all the way onto your hip. And we're just gonna get a little bit of spinal rotation here. So top arm reaches forward and then it comes back. So now we're trying to get rotation through our rib cage, okay? So if the back arches, sink the ribs down. If the hips lift, that's okay. But if they can stay down, amazing. We have just a couple more, just trying to get the movement through your rib cage. Top hip still sinks. This should feel similar, but still a little bit different to when our feet were on the ground, yeah? Last one. Hold it. From the ribs, drag the spine back. We get to switch arms and rotate to the other side. Now, once again, you can always support your head. We're trying not to arch. Are you guys smacking each other? Just keep in mind, if you accidentally make contact, hold hands. We're a friendly bunch, right? Yeah. So think about that shoulder kind of sliding back, but still just being attached to your rib cage. It's moving because the rib cage is moving. Couple more. Last one like this. Hold. Think about sliding that hip away, sinking the ribs down, coming back to your center. Now that we are at center, we imprint our spine, and then let's press into our big toe mound as well as our baby toe and heel, and peel up into our first bridge. Now, as you guys know, first one doesn't count, it's just information, right? Is your weight on your neck or your shoulders? Are you lifting from your armpits or your hips? Is your back crunched or is it relaxed? On the way down, melt through your throat, your sternum, your ribs, melt your low back into the ground, sacrum, coming back to neutral. Let's try that again. Now, if you can press your hands into the floor as well as your feet, it can help get you a little bit of height. But if you're like me and you internally rotate a lot from your shoulder, you can also flip your palms to the sky. It won't be the same kind of connection, but it will help you keep your collarbones nice and wide. Melt and roll. 2 more. Last one. And roll all the way down. Nice job, you guys. Let's go ahead and take the prop, set it to the side for a second. Slide 1 foot out long. Now think about that thigh connecting to your ribs. And all we're gonna do, push the heel into the ground a little bit And then imprint your spine. Come back to neutral. Now with neutral, even though we're not letting go of the abs, nothing's moving, you're going to start pushing that foot away while still connecting it to the floor. See if you feel your core connect even more. And then imprint, keep it grounded, neutral, keep it grounded, push. Everybody feel that oblique sticking on? Good. 2 more. Last one. Good. Now just switch legs. That's it. That's all I ask. Exact same thing. We're pressing down into the ground, imprint, come back to neutral, keep that connection, push the foot away without letting the spine move. And then again, imprint. So low back lowers, keep the heel down, press back to neutral, keep neutral, push the foot away a little, right? So one of the main functions of our core is taking force from upper and lower body and transferring it, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to do now, is stabilize the force of the lower body with our core. Last one. Good. Now, you can stick with these or interlace your hands behind your head, come up into your chest lift. Push one foot away and then back down and away. And back down. Once again, it's not about height, it's pushing it away. It's the exact same thing we just did, only we're not actively pushing the heel into the ground. Yeah, last one. Looking at your foot, looking at your foot. Yeah, there you go. And then we, of course, do the other side. Yeah, so it's just away. Again, keep your knee soft. Don't straighten your leg. Bend your knee slightly. Hey, Kyle, bend your knee. Yeah. Yeah, keep it bent a little. And then push the foot away from your abs, not your knee. Yeah. It's harder, I know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Good. Now we get to bring both legs to tabletop. Squeeze your inner thighs like you're trying to pop a balloon. Now, if you want your head down, that's great. I'm going to show both. So we're going to take one hand, place it on our opposite thigh, use that armpit to push in, and then push the other foot away, thinking of stabilizing like we just did, right? And then fold it in. Other side, push into the thigh, right? Push the thigh into the hand, and then reach the foot away, trying to stabilize from your abs like we just did. So I don't care if your leg straightens. In fact, if you keep your heel low and don't fully straighten your leg, it's more work on your abs, right? Because our quad won't be taking the force. Now, if you're like, I really want that chest lift, you can maintain it. You're just going to press. And we're not rotating yet, which is exciting. So keep yourself nice and still. And we're just pushing. Good. Couple more. Pressing in more with the heel of your hand and the pinky finger side. Good. Everyone feeling a little work? Yeah. So fun. Yeah. You get to do one more like this each side. Then we get to add rotation. Yeah, or you get to take a break if you need to, right? If you're ready for rotation, rotate, press into the side of your leg, and then push your glute into your hand. So it just stays the same shape, right? And then other side. So a lot of times, if we forget about the glute activation, we wind up pulling the knee across our leg, or yeah, across our hips. which isn't instinctively bad. It's just different, right? So we're trying to find something called innervation, where we're activating muscles that aren't necessarily like part of that joint to get more work and stability, right? Good. It's like a push-pull. We get one more each side, and then we get to change it up again. Yeah. And if you need a break, do you take one? Yeah. Now come back to center. Take your hand, same side leg. Yep. That's it. So it's different than the opposite side leg. Nope, we're switching. Same legs, different hand. Does this feel different than the first one? The answer is probably yes. Yeah. This is a version of single leg stretch. We're going to do one more each side like this, and then we're going to do a slightly more traditional single leg stretch, unless you need the support of your head. So you can shavasana if you want. Hands on your shin, press your shin up into your hands, armpits down. So it's going to help you curl forward. So you're pulling and pushing at the same time to help create that buoyancy. Yeah, so keep yourself basically still. If you need your head down, can you do the same thing? Yeah, you're still pulling down with your arms and pushing up with your shin to create that connection. Yeah, good. If you even need to step your foot down, is that great? Yeah. We have just a couple more. And two. Making sure you're pushing up with your shin, as well as pulling down with those arms. Good. Hug your knees towards your chest and gently rock from side to side. Nice job. Now let your thighs just gently stir in the socket with the help of your hands. And then other side. Now hands behind your thighs. Push your thighs into your hands until your arms are pretty straight. And lift your chest to look at your legs. Now just start to rock a little, like a little pill bug, until you come all the way up. Nice scoop to the front of your mat. We are going to do some rolling like a balls, but we have options. Option one. When we find it, we're all going to do option one together. So shoulders down, curl your ribs back, lift your heels. Yeah, just your heels. Option one is just finding that position and maintaining it. And then you tap your toes down and then you find it again, right? So if you're here and you're fine, and then as soon as you're going to lift your feet, you kind of try to find your balance like that, that might be where you stay today, right? Option two is taking the prop, bringing it behind us, and just rolling until you touch the prop, and then using the bounce back to help you. Don't flatten out and you'll be fine. Yeah, so keep the tiny nugget shape, and then you come forward. Yeah, great. And maybe option two is where you live today. If you're like, no, I love full rolling like a ball, it's my favorite, you don't need the ball, right? Yeah, just get rid of it. Get sassy with it. So you inhale, and then exhale. And if when you get there, you're like, beep, 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 beep. See if you can use your breath. Hey, Nancy, use the ball today. Everybody's body's different every day. Maybe you slept weird. Or do the first one, option one, I think. If you're going to fall into Kyle, option one. If not, option two is great. Yeah, that one was better. Now, if full rolling like a ball is like your jam, and you really want to like bring the ball underneath your knees, and then curl. Yeah. It's exciting. Couple more. This one. Hey, Kyle, don't look up. Look at your feet the whole time. Easier, huh? You guys, just so you know, I am watching the two of you. It just doesn't look like it. And back. Denise, those were not as you had advertised. They looked amazing. We're gonna bring your feet forward. Hands forward. Now, you can reach for your thighs, your shins, or your feet. And we're going to think about pulling the armpits down. And then pushing, if you've reached your feet, push your feet into your hands. And then if you've reached your shins, pull your armpits down. Just imagine pushing the legs. And then we lift our ribs to the sky. So we're in an uppercase C shape, not a lowercase one. And we curl back, we're doing roll-ups. So if there's a prop you really like for roll-ups, great. Exhale and peel your spine up one bone at a time. Now, on the way down, see if you can melt slowly into the mat. Melt your sacrum, melt your low back, melt your ribs. And then keep those arms integrated into your torso. Good. Now, if roll-ups are hard, no problem. They're hard. So maybe you bend your knees a little because potentially, maybe your hip flexors are a little tight, right? Maybe you use your hands on your legs to help you. No problem. Right? Maybe you're like, man, going down is great, getting up is really challenging for me. In which case you could even, do the up part of rolling like a ball. Yeah, right? Whatever you need is perfect. We have two more like this. Use your breath a little bit more and you got it. Yeah. And last one. Yeah. Hey, Nancy, so much better. Yeah, better. All right. Good, Denise. You got this. Next time, exhale more like you're filling up a balloon. You got it. Okay, you guys, we're going to come onto hands and knees. Yeah, hands and knees. Okay, so shoulders over wrists if possible. If you need to be on your fists, can you be? Of course. Now first, just push your whole spine up to the sky. And then sink your whole spine down the opposite way. It's a little cat-cow. Now just start to notice, as we do a few rounds of these, where your spine likes to move from. So when you press up to the sky, do you get all thoracic or do you get thoracic and lower back? And when you go the opposite way, is it all lumbar and neck, or does your thoracic spine also move? And then there's also the possibility that if you have restriction in your lumbar spine with extension, that your thoracic does all the work. That's what mine likes to do. So I have to actively try to get my lumbar to kick on, right? So just be aware without judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. And then let's articulate. So we're going to press all the way up and then unwind your hip bones. So widen through your sits bones, let your belly button start to sink down, and then let your lower ribs, mid ribs, collarbones, and you can look forward at the end. And then let your tailbone melt down like Salvador Dali's clock. Lift your hip bones, lift your low back, press into the floor to help you as you look down. So if as we do this, widen through your sits bones and unwind slowly. You have a section that doesn't like to move independently. That's okay. Say we're trying to articulate through all of our lumbar and you're like, well, I can move them in one piece or not at all. Move them in one piece, right? Just see if you can start finding a little bit more freedom with each round. Not force, freedom. So in an ideal world, we'll be able to find intersegmental articulation. But guess what? Maybe we're doing that, but at the expense of bringing tension into a different part of our body, in which case, let's just find a little bit of glide. Good, we're gonna end with this last rounded back. Press your hips back, bring it forward. Couple more, this should feel pretty good in your back. And hold it back. Take your hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. Okay. Come back to center. Roll out your wrists for a second and come back. We're going to do something pretty fun and telling. So the ball, make sure the stopper is down, because otherwise it can shoot across the room and the ball will deflate. Let's avoid that, shall we? So we're going to put one knee on the ball. Now, if it's the kneecap, it's going to be really unstable. So think, I guess, more about your shin. Put your shin on the ball. And then hands, good, tuck both toes under, and then slide the foot that's attached to the ground out and then back. Now, the side with the ball, I want you to press down and slightly out to get that glute to activate. And then if you want, you can start floating one or both feet. Yep. Now, yeah, it's better with the shin. Yeah, kneecap is like really crazy. Now, if as you do this, you feel really stable, you're like, I love it, you can always reach your opposite arm as mobile leg out. But it's okay if you need to tap that toe down, right? You have two more on this side. I'm just going to stick with hands down today. Last one. Hold it out. Tiny little lift and lowers of the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. And then bring it down. Now, all we're going to do now, tuck your toes under. It's going to be slightly different. You're going to keep the knee on the ball or the shin on the ball. Just lift your opposite hip and bring it down. And again, little lift without arch, right? So this should theoretically help activate your multifidus, like your tiny little spinal stabilizers. We have 3, good, 2, good, last one, and other side. If you press your foot down that's on the ball, that'll also help stabilize it. So if it gets away from you, just like that. Right. So stopper down, shin on. Everybody ready? Great. This side might be your easy side. This side is my easy side. I intentionally did my challenge side first. Once again, you can keep both feet down. You can keep one foot down. You can float both. You can reach opposite arm and leg. We have a couple more. 3. Good, nice. Reach away. You're doing great. And it's just information, right? And hold it out, tiny, down and up. Good, yep. Knees, bring your right knee slightly closer to your face. Yeah, there you go. 2. Last one, Bring both knees down, tuck the toes under, and we just lift and down. Little lift and down. Good. This should feel pretty easy in your back. We have 4. Good. 3, 2. Last 1. Go ahead, come off of there. Press yourself back to roll out your wrists. We are going to do a plank. If your wrists are donezo, feel free to come onto your forearms, right? No problem. Do you have your roller? Good. Okay. Okay, you guys, you ready? It's going to be so great. If you want more information, take the ball, put it on your low back. Huh? You can be on fists as well. Slide one foot out, other foot out. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you want, you can bend one knee. If you're on your forearms, it's a little bit trickier, right? That's okay. Now, if you have the ball on your back and one side is like doo doo doo, and the other side goes pop, it just gives us information, right? So it just tells us if one side drops or rotates, right? Now, I'm going to be on my forearms for a second. So I'm just going to tap my knee down. We have 3, 3, 2 more. Last set. Good. Knees down and press yourselves back. Nice job, everybody. So go ahead, take the ball. It's going to be your pillow. We're going to do a little side lying. So if it feels better for you to like do bridge or forearm stuff with your leg extended behind you, go for that. Okay. Good. All right. So go ahead. Come on down. What's happening? You know, some days that's how it is. So think about your bottom rib lifting up a bit. So if I wanted to slide a sheet of paper under you, I could. Okay. Now, if you're doing it by gripping your armpit, try to relax the armpit, find the oblique. Top hip lengthens, extend your top leg. Good. Now, let the leg relax, bring it slightly back in space, hold. So keep your pelvis still. Imagine that your foot is against a wall and you're just going to push it into the wall. Just back into the wall. Yep, back into the wall. Back into the wall. So that glute max should be kicking on, right? Now let's just see if we can feel the difference in our nervous system. So is everybody actually thinking about the heel against a wall and pushing it? Good. One more like that. Feel how the muscles activate. Now, imagine there's no wall. You're just kind of moving the leg. Does that feel a little different? Yeah. It's interesting because closed kinetic chain versus open, like we can tell our nervous system that that's what's happening. So find the wall again for 4. Find the wall for 3, 2, 1. Now, tiny little circles. Keeping it kind of behind you in general to get the glutes to activate more than the hip flexors, right? 2, and then reverse. Good. 5, 4, 3. Nice. Good. Now hold. Let your foot dangle. I want you to reach it towards the wall and then slowly let it lower. Kyle, lift your bottom ribs. Yep, keep them there. Yeah. Then back down. Is this feeling okay? Good. Nice job, Denise. Said nice job, Denise. Good. Good. 2 more. Is everybody feeling their glutes a little bit? Yeah. Great. 2. Last 1. Now bring it so that foot is in alignment with your hip bone. Still try to find that glute. It should just be hanging on, right? Now flex the foot, let it hip hinge a little forward, drag it back through wet sand. Flex, let it hip hinge, and then drag it back. Now, if you get to a certain point and your whole body tries to bring the foot with it, or whole body tries to bring the leg back, let it happen for one, right? Go okay. And then see if you can find homeostasis and let the hip joint just move, right? Maybe that means you have a smaller range of motion. That's okay. We have 2. Last one. Good. Now go ahead, bring that leg down. Prop yourself up on your elbow. Good. Now, you can always keep this leg extended. You can always bend it. It's up to you. We're going to push into the ground, lift our hips. Good. And then if it's appropriate for your body, slow tap down and then press lift up. Good. Keeping tension in the shoulder. So you're pushing the floor away the whole time as opposed to sinking into it and then lifting, right? Now, once you get that, if that's good, extend the other leg out. Inner thigh and glute should be helping, right? We have 3 and 2. Gorgeous. Last one. And we get to do the other side. Yeah. Kyle, you seeing if you can leave yet? Yeah. All right, so let the bottom ribs lift a little, top hip lengthens, extend the leg out. Good. Now press it back slightly. Now imagine it's against the wall. You're gonna just push it back into the wall and relax. Push it back into the wall, right? So the leg's not gonna move that much. Think about the wall being right behind you, right? Good. We have just a few more. 4 and 3 and 2 and last one. And little baby circles. Think of dragging the leg back behind you. Good. This side doing okay? Okay. 3, 2. Gorgeous, everybody. And we reverse. For 4, 3, nice. 2. If at any point you need a break, obviously take a break and bring it back. Now let that foot dangle a little. We're pushing it away. It's paint brushing up some and then squeegeeing down. Bring your heel back in space just a teeny bit. Yeah. Good. Is that a little bit more glute for you? Good. A few more. And down. And 3, 2. Good. Last one. We're just going to keep it about halfway. And then we hip hinge. So let it come forward and back down. Now, once again, if your whole spine wants to move, let yourself have that happen once and then be like, okay, now let's see if we can find center. And just keep it, right? We have 3 and 2. Last one. Nice job, you guys. Go ahead, come up onto your side. Yeah, now push. Do it okay? How did your glute kick on this side too? Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna slowly sink it down if it's appropriate. Now, once again, maybe your knees, both of them like to be bent. That's fine. Right? Either way, if your knees are bent or one's extended, that top inner thigh and bottom glute are doing as much work as the shoulder. Now, if you want, of course, you can always slide both feet out. But if your shoulder feels like it's being compromised, keep a knee down. 3, 2. Last one. Good. Go ahead and come onto your knees. Kyle, hopefully this feels okay. If you need to do this a different way, feel free. Yeah. So on our knees, we're just going to see where we are. So if you're kind of pitched forward, squeeze your glutes to help you be upright. We're going to extend one leg out and lean away from it. If this is not comfortable, you can always just kind of be here, okay? We're gonna, now, everybody see this upright position? We're not gonna be coming back to this. Imagine now this leg, this extended leg, and the crown of your head are one line. Yes, that is where we're going to be trying to come back to, okay? Feel where it is, take your top hand, kind of rub your leg. Okay, so this is where your hand is gonna arrive at, okay? Now, slowly side bend, and then come back to where you were. Oh, is it the same spot? Good, and then down. Little side bend and back, good. You can also do this standing. It's not as much work. Yeah, yeah. So just slide yourself down, yeah, good, and back up. Now, if you want more work, hand comes behind your head. And 3, try not to come up as high. Feel it on your hand. 2, think about your head reaching away from your foot. Last one. Yeah, a little bit here. And then hold. Now, yeah, finding it. Now, if you can, bend the knee. Balance. Ta-da! We get to do the other side. Yeah. So find that upright and then be like, never again. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And then we slide. Yes, that's why I want us to like find that one line. Find it. Right? Rub your leg. Tell your body where you're going. And then we can side bend and then come back. Find the same spot on the leg. And then down. Same spot on the leg. Good. Now, if you're like, okay, cool. I really want more work. Hand comes behind your head. Right? Good. Just a few more. Yeah, that looks great. And 2. Now the fun part, we're gonna hold it and then see if you can balance when you just sneak that leg up and come on up. Nice job, you guys. Go ahead, tuck your toes under, hands down, press yourselves up into a downward dog-esque style position. And then shift your hips back, dangle out of your hips for a second and roll it all the way up. All right, so first, we're gonna get a little bit of rotation and extension standing. So bring one foot forward. You can bend it, just let the other heel come down. So first, hands come forward, shoulder blades draw down, and we just rotate towards that bent leg. Sit. All right, good. Yep, rotate. Good. So first of all, this type of rotation towards that bent leg or that front leg, guess what it's important for? Walking. Yes. And dancing, but mostly walking. Good. Good. Now, if this is where you are, fantastic. Otherwise, hands come behind your head. You're going to get a little extension through your upper back. Then you're going to rotate, come back and back. Okay. Little extension. If the rotation feels good, rotate back to center and center. 2 more. Good. If the extension feels good, but the rotation does not, just do the extension. And back. Other side. And you may have noticed it was a little bit of a balance challenge too. Yeah, so we start with rotation. See how it feels. Yeah. Yeah, Nancy, rotate that way. There you go. And then back to center. Yeah, you're just trying to go, hold there. Take your left hand to Kyle. Yeah, look at Kyle. There, boom. And then back, yeah. Yeah. Like a book, open the book towards Kyle. Yeah. Yeah. 2. Because I mean, we're almost always challenged on one side. Yeah. Last one. Yeah. And then hands behind your head. We're going to get that little bit of extension. And then if it feels good, rotate, pull, and back. Right? So we extend, rotate, back and down. Now, we're going to do something a little interesting in a second. Well, I think it's interesting. It's to help our cerebellum. Good. One more. All right. So everybody has a dominant and non-dominant side. So if you're right-handed, right is your dominant. If you're left-handed, left is your dominant. Grab your ball. We're going to stand on our non-dominant foot. Use the ball in your non-dominant hand. And put the ball in your left hand if you're right-handed, everything in the left. If you're left-handed, everything in the right. Great, just checking. Good, great. We're gonna try to, yeah. Also, I think these balls are probably more exciting than some of the others, just because like some of the air is out of them. Yeah, good, couple more. 2. And then just for fun, we'll do the dominant side. See how much easier it is, right? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Harder for you on your dominant side? Interesting. Fascinating. Oh. Ah. Interesting. 2. Last one. Yeah, it just gives us information, right? A lot of times, what I think is also interesting, a lot of times our dominant side is also like our fine motor skill side, and like the goon side tends to be the like non-dominant. So you can drop the ball. We're just gonna roll down, nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body, roll all the way down, peeling your spine off the wall. And take your hands to one side so you feel a little stretch through the other side. And then other direction. So when we take our hands up and over, you might feel this more on the outside calf or outside hamstring. Come back to center, let everything dangle, and just gently nod your chin. And just gently shake your head. And nod your head, yes. Are you gonna have a fantastic new year? Awesome. And then shake your head no. Do you have any regrets about coming to class? Heck no. And then nod your head yes. You're gonna have a great rest of your day at least? Good. And then scoop and roll all the way up. Nice job, you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome.